The overarching thing for me, Max, or Senator, Ambassador, is the carrot that we're holding for Kim Jong Un, and that would be a prosperous nation where his citizenry actually comes into the 21st century in terms of quality of life or even food and shelter. He's been doing just fine for years and years, and did his father, with his people basically starving. And he and his cronies have been doing pretty well, I think. Is there a reason for us to think that he would like to be seen maybe as the father of modern North Korea and actually might have a vested interest in cooperating with something like denuclearization?
I think Kim Jong Un's like a lot of leaders. He wants to perpetuate his power. He wants to be the man. He wants to be written in history as one of the most powerful leaders in North Korea. And he's doing that by building up his nuclear arsenal and building up his missile capability. And my judgment is he's not going to give that up. We hope that he does. We're going to try all ways to encourage him to do it, but he's not going to do it. Meantime, South Korea is starting to cozy up a bit with North Korea. President Moon wants some form of unification not far down the road. Add to that, sanctions are tough, but Russia and China are relaxing slightly. And add to that, North Korea has a pretty prosperous black market. So I don't see a lot of changes. I very much hope, we all hope, obviously, that President Trump can work out some kind of agreement that advances the ball down Hanoi. But we have to remember, they're both sort of autocrats. They're their own people. Kim certainly is, and President Trump doesn't follow the advice of his advisors very much. He's his own man. So we'll see. We hope there's progress, but I'm not sure there's. Well,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I heard an answer to my basic question. It is the carrot that he can bring his people into a much more, a much better, higher standard of living. Is that something he'd like to do, or is he just fine with him being in power with nuclear weapons? Is people still don't have the quality of life of almost any other country on the planet? Does he want to do that? Does he want to be seen as fatherly and as someone that helps out North Korea, or does that not matter to him? He just wants to stay in power like he has been.
I think I primarily wants to stay in power, but if he can get sanctions relief, of course he wants that. He's going to extend a couple of carrots on denuclearization, whatever that means to him, in order to get a sanctions relief. He'll do his very best, but he's not, in my judgment, going to give up his whole card, which is his nuclear and missile capability.
Well, I just wonder whether what we're doing then, I mean, almost everyone says this is better than when there were, every 3 weeks there was a missile flying over Japan, that we're in a better position now, that seems like tensions of these. I mean, if they're going full force with development and we're really getting played, and then a year from now they can switch back to testing missiles again over Japan, we've gotten absolutely nowhere. I mean, is that what you think is happening here, or is there something brewing that could be positive for the world?
Well, of course, we don't know for sure. We'll find out what's agreed to, and even then, we don't know what the follow-up will be. I think Kim will suspend testing for the indefinite future because it's helping him. Same time, he's developing within North Korea secretly his missiles, not testing them, but still developing them. And I think that's going to continue. I hope I'm wrong, but I think he's going to keep going. He has basically done a good job establishing a strong nuclear capability, almost superiority. And soon we're going to find ourselves working with him to be members of the nuclear club. Now, I know that's a bit heretical. A lot of the American foreign policy establishment says, oh, no, we got to get rid of all those nukes. I hope they're right, the establishment, but I don't think they are. I think we're getting to a point where Kim's going to be part of the club.
All right, we're also dealing with China, trying to figure out some way of getting a trade deal with China. And for a while, President Trump was linking the negotiations with North Korea and China together, saying, well, I did this to China, and now North Korea is not responding as positively as they were before. Do you think anything that's happening now in Vietnam is going to affect the ongoing negotiations with trade with China and getting a deal?
I think it's important for us to remember that China is the 800-pound gorilla in the room. China has huge influence over the nuclear talks in Hanoi. And obviously, China's going to maintain its position as much as they can a strong economic power with respect to these trade talks. China and China always takes the long term. Maybe there's going to be a summit in Mar-a-Lago, which announces some kind of a deal. I think, frankly, it's going to be helpful, but China, although it will probably buy a lot more American products and reduce the trade deficit, will not in any significant way address some of the core structural problems that we Americans are concerned with. Because if China were to back off and all that, frankly, Xi Jinping may lose his job. There's such strong feelings in China now. I talk to a lot of Chinese. I go to China often, and they very much want to maintain their sense of destiny and be a very strong country in the future. They're not going to give up very much.
So eventually you think we're going to be living in a world where North Korea is in the nuclear club?
I do. I do.
And what that...
Along with Pakistan, India, and many other countries.
Right. And not all of them will necessarily respond to MAD, to mutually assured destruction. So I don't know what's going to happen. That might be a problem.
It is.
I'm worried about the...
Well, I'm very worried, but I don't see a path to getting Kim to give up. He's not going to give up. That is what keeps him in power. We talk about regime change. We'll protect him. If he gives up, we will protect him so he can still be the leader in North Korea. He's not going to believe that because different presidents come and go. Promises are not really kept. The thing that keeps him in power is his nukes.